Welcome to the Digital Edge podcast. I'm Françoise Lamotte with co-host Dominic Mugli. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
On our podcast, we explore technology, innovation, and digital transformation. Today, we are diving into the topic of what does digital transformation mean for the end customer? Dominic, what is your view on that?
I love this topic, diving into the ultimate outcome of digital transformation. And I think maybe we can explore a little bit what does the end customer mean? Because I in my career I've built a lot of solutions that are indirect indirect benefit to the end customer, right? So it's for internal company use that improves processes, manages data, or analyzes data and so forth. So, what do you think it means to have a solution in digital transformation that actually serves the end customer?
I think
Is
I would concur to what you said. I mean, of course, when we think about the end customer, we might think about, a mobile app or a web interface. But
Yeah.
in reality, I think we have to consider it and along the entire customer journey. And a lot of things may be in the background or internal processes, but at the end, it makes the customer journey more fluid, easier, more friendly, and that's what matters. The end customer might not see everything, but I would say the end customer might feel everything. Meaning that if a process used to take 3 days and now can be performed in half an hour, maybe it's not visible, but at some point the end customer is going to feel or not even feel or maybe not even see that there is a difference, but experience something different. What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah, I think so too, right? And I think in some cases there can be even multiple end users or final customers. I was just thinking about the process of ordering an Uber ride, right? So you have the person requesting a ride. I can pull out my phone and say, I'm here, I want to go there, make a request, right? And there's a lot of mechanisms in the background, of course, that have to work out in order to coordinate that, find out who's nearby, make an offer to drivers for a driver to accept, and then also travel to the start location of the ride. So in this case, right, it's both the simplicity for the person requesting as a end customer, if you will, but also the driver, him or herself, to interact and have a good experience, but getting a ride that provides a good rate and good payment.
Yeah, and in that respect, I think I have seen bad examples of digital transformation for the end customer, meaning, the company puts a very nice website, a very nice front end where, everything seems nice, but in the background, everything is still done manually or it takes forever and people are passing paper documents from one department to another or whatever. And I think this is, in a way, maybe a poor customer experience because, it creates expectation. You have this nice interface. You think, oh, everything is going to be very slick. But at the end, the process behind has not changed and it's a disappointment. So I think we have to be very careful when, we talk about digital transformation from the end customer. It cannot be only the nice window. It has to be the entire journey.
Right. That I like it how you say that experience, right? I mean, in solution design, the term user experience is oftentimes, or I think it should be put at the forefront of solution development, because the goal is to have as little friction as possible between the user and the user interface, right? Which then enables a positive experience, hopefully, for the user to have all this complexity and all that hard work that had to go into it be abstracted out and not be visible, so that the user doesn't need to concern him or herself with the details.
Yeah, I agree. So if we think, what is digital transformation for the end customer, for me, one, it means a better customer experience, as you said, more fluid, easier to access, transparent, having the whole knowledge and the information. I think it also means more points of contacts, because it's adding one or two additional points of contacts, whether before it was only physical or on the phone. So more accessibility. Usually it means also more opening hours, because I'm expecting things to work 24/7. So this is the promise of digital transformation for the end customer. I think the warnings or the pitfalls we have to think about is, one, as I mentioned before, this end-to-end process. It cannot be only the front end or the window dressing of the customer experience. And I think the other thing we have to think about is how to onboard customers who are not familiar with digital tools. And I'm thinking about maybe more senior people or people who are not familiar with digital, and that can be a real hurdle. I mean, if I think about my dad, when they had to fill their taxes online, I think that was a challenge. And doing banking online, I mean, all of these traditional businesses, when they move online, they have to think about also helping users, because it's not always a very smooth transition from the old world to the new one.
Right. Yeah, and I think we've been conditioned pretty well right now with mobile apps that are very well functioning, right? And I think what we see also, if there's a product that doesn't exactly meet expectations of simplicity and intuitiveness, it will quickly be discarded, right? So the feedback can be very quick and very harsh if you have a product that doesn't meet expectations instantly. But I think there's a little bit of a, how to say, a difference in expectations. What I see is in enterprise computing, for example, right, where we have, again, back to these applications which are not exactly front customer facing, there's less regard paid to make them user friendly. There's more, a much greater level of acceptance that a product may not be as effective, user friendly, and we just go and spend a lot of time and energy in training people and figuring out how the system works, that people can do their work. And I think in a lot of ways, we have like this super sophisticated, consumer focused digital capability that we have, because of course there's a lot of money to be made at times, right? And we oftentimes then ignore the investments or the benefit that some of the investments can be made for internal business use, right? Where the user experience is oftentimes disregarded in the evaluation of software. And that's something that I found in my career, that happens over and over again, where that's just secondary. We accept that people have to spend a lot of time to train and become familiar, in a matter of weeks or even months, in some cases years, to become experts at operating these complex software solutions.
Yeah, I think we had that discussion in another episode about the B2E, or the employee experience. That is, there's a big gap, and it's much more degraded compared to what we see in B2C space. But I was also, I mean, the other day I heard someone who wanted to move a doctor's appointment, and I mean, she rang, and it was obviously an AI agent answering the phone and asking, what's your name, what do you want to do, and the conversation was pretty fluid. But at the end, the answer was, okay, we will call you back, and that defeated the points. So I know that that patient, what she did the next day, she took the subway and went to the doctor's office to change the appointments.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, when we move too fast and we, you know, we put tools facing customers, but at the end we don't really understand what they need, that's a big failure. So I think digital transformation for end customers to be successful, it really needs to understand what customers want to do and make sure that it delivers a complete solution, not halfway. You know, I take the information and I will call you back. This is not a solution. So I think you know, to make it work, and there is a lot that needs to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, I think well said. I think in order to be successful with digital transformation in very, very many cases is to probably look 2 steps ahead and see what the ultimate impact is, not just, again, maybe internal or work group level, but really what it contributes to the overall experience from the ultimate customer. And I think that's really critical in digital transformation initiatives to keep that in mind.
And maybe just a last point before we conclude. I mean, whenever I've seen, you know, opening new contact points, whether it was a chat or an online tool or, you know, a robot, whatever, it never decreased the other channels. So, you know, sometimes we believe that because we are introducing new digital touch points, it's going to shift the volumes from phone or physical to those channels. But in reality, it just increases because, I mean, my assumption is because the experience we deliver is not good. So people try it and then they revert to the more traditional ways of contacting the organization.
Yeah, and as we know, people don't always take it easily to change doing things in a new and different way.
So Dominik, what is your takeaway from our conversation today?
In a nutshell, always put the customer in the middle, focus on the experience and build around that.
Yeah, I agree. I would say that for me, a successful digital transformation for the end customer is really an end-to-end journey. It cannot be only a touch point or only a nice interface. There is a lot of work to make it work. Thank you so much, Dominik, for the conversation, and see you next time.
All right, see you all next time. Thanks for watching.